Okay, well, let's get started. So let's talk about Amy Gleason. Well, shit. Okay, get rested. Although I will tell you, Kathleen, I am a druid, and I can cure most illnesses homeopathically. That's one of my skills. So if you're not a reader of the publication, you should read the publication because I teach people how to treat things naturally and without a lot of side effect. It's one of my special special skills. Hello, Andy. How are you today? Um, I love on your profile, by the way, Andy. It says retired trial lawyer and village justice. There's a sensibility about that. Yeah, Kathy. Yeah, by all means, I'm a paid for sub. It helps me keep the sub going if you pay for the sub. I will tell you that, and maybe not a lot of people know this. The paid for sub gets you full access to my herbal um, directive, um, my herbal directive library, including how to use the herbals that I would suggest that you use to heal yourself. So, without further ado, let's talk about Amy Gleason. So, bureaucratic reshuffling. It's the only way that I can. Oh, 1 second, sweetheart. Would you have it in your heart to get me a Diet Coke? Oh, thank you so much. Yes, I'm a Diet Coke drinker. It's probably very bad for me, despite being a very homeopathic influenced druid woman, but um, I still love my Diet Coke. I can't let it go. So, bureaucratic reshuffling that has followed Trump's 2025 inauguration. Uh, One person came completely out of obscurity. Um, no one really knew what she was before, and no one really knew what she was after. Um, was Amy Gleason, who is the lead administrator of the Doge organization. Um, so, who the fuck is she? I don't know who this person is. I never heard of her before being told that she was the administrator for Doge. And so I went on a quest to find out what I could find out about her. Now, I will tell you, oh, and let me link the article in the chat so that everybody that wants to follow along with my uh, opinion about this, they can uh, hear it. So yeah, I'll just tell you right off. Yeah, I think she's a patsy or a scapegoat. Not that there's any difference between either of those fucking terms, but so who is she? How did she was a healthcare technology professional? How did she end up in Doge? Um, there's no real. I mean, I can't understand why she. You brought me a plate. Yes, Brit. Yes, my partner regularly takes care of me because I can't clearly take care of myself. So um, that means that I'm being dished up stuffed crust pizza for dinner. Ooh, pizza for dinner. Lovely. But I get to talk to all of you first before I go to eat that. So, does she wield any actual power in the Doge organization? Um, so, let's just talk through this bullshit. So, long before she was a prominent figure in political um, arenas, Gleason was wiping asses and saving lives in an emergency room as an ER nurse. That's where she started. After graduating from the University of Tennessee in '93, she could have continued her career in direct patient care, which, I mean, would have been more noble. From my perspective, it would have been more noble to do that. Instead, she would have pivoted to the far more lucrative world of healthcare technology, um, where she landed at a company called Allscripts, which is an electronic medical records company, and it's had its share of controversies. Let's be clear. Um, you know, so that career trajectory might seem unremarkable, and really it is. I'm not that what she was doing was uh, bad or what she was doing was not worth what she was doing. But Gleason's journey took a personal turn when her daughter was diagnosed with juvenile myositis, which is an autoimmune disease that transformed routine health care into many specialists' insurance claims and medical records. And it was with that experience, watching her child suffer while simultaneously battling what can only be described as draconian healthcare system, that supposedly drove her to co-found a company called CareSync in 2011. And that company promised to solve the exact coordination problems that had made her daughter's care so fucking difficult and so wildly crazy. By the way, somebody named Housegoat joined the live, and I think that's fucking cool. Thank you, Housegoat, for joining. I'm just shouting you out in the middle of the talk. So she was the chief operating officer and chief strategy officer for CareSync, and so she positioned herself as a crusader against healthcare inefficiency, for which she earned recognition from the Obama administration for a champion of change. It's kind of heartwarming, right? Mother turns personal tragedy into being an effective force for healthcare for other people. And so, um, but this is where shit goes off the rails or whatever. So, CareSync, despite its noble mission and Gleason's personal stake, crashed and burned in 2018, shut its doors, laid off all of its employees, and essentially turned into a zero-sum game. Former employees described showing up to work only to be told they no longer had jobs and the company was being shuttered down. No severance, no warning, just corporate death by 1,000 cuts. And so while here's the thing, I can't find any reporting that specifically blames Gleason for the collapse. She was COO, so chief operating officer. She was at fault. What that fault is, I don't fucking know. It's buried somewhere. I haven't found it yet. So after CareSync's implosion, Gleason could have just gone back into the private sector, and instead she joined the U.S. Digital Service, a technology unit created during the Obama administration to salvage government IT projects from the flaming dumpster fires that they typically become. Yeah, and maybe so. But I can't find evidence to support that or prove that yet. I am actively looking. And I will say that this article is going to get updates. Whether I update them in a separate article and then reference this article or otherwise. So during her time of her government career, Gleason joined the SDS also during the Trump administration, which was not exactly known for its embrace of Obama-era innovations. The USDS was most certainly an Obama administration, and Trump didn't do anything with it, or didn't cancel it, didn't shut it down, and so that was unusual. Yet she managed not only to survive, but thrive, eventually landing on the White House Coronavirus Task Force, their data team during the pandemic. And you remember that task force, right? The Fauci, the one where doctors and scientists would be routinely sidelined by Trump's constant suggestion to inject bleach to make the disease go away, or shoving UV lights into body orifices, which, by the way, I mean, he kept saying that if there was a way you could get the ultraviolet light inside you, when Trump talks about getting things inside of him, I'm not sure I want to know why he would have communicated that. So, what exactly was Gleason doing during that time period? The public record about her is uh, very vague and very covered up. Was she pushing back against the administration's dismissal of scientific data? Nobody knows. Was she enabling it? Still don't know. So after leaving the USDS in 2021, as the Biden administration took over, um, yeah, right. He's a dumbass. Um, so after leaving the USDS in 2021, Gleason bounced around the private sector. She was working at Russell Street Ventures and Main Street Health, two organizations that sound like they were named by an AI programmed exclusively on a Hallmark channel. Um, but the siren song of government work pulled her back, and so she rejoined the USDS in late 2024, just in time for Trump's return to the White House. So then Doge happened. So when Trump signed the executive order in January transforming the U.S. Digital Service into the Department of Government Efficiency, it raised eyebrows for several reasons. First, there was the fucking name. The name's fucking stupid. It's fucking dumb, and Musk's little cartoony, doggy, icons or whatever are fucking bullshit, and they're stupid, and they're dumb, and I just don't. Ugh. It's like Musk is a 16-year-old kid, because he is. He's a fucking 16-year-old kid. Still. Um, so the transformation of the USDS into Doge wasn't just a rebranding exercise. It represented a fundamental shift. Um, and while the USDS focused on improving government technology to better serve the American people, Doge's primary mission was to slash government resources. And somehow, Amy Gleason found herself identified as Doge's acting administrator in February of 2025. So let's be clear. This wasn't a Senate confirmed appointment. Gleason wasn't selected through any transparent process that would have allowed for public scrutiny of her qualifications. She simply materialized in the role. One day she was there, she wasn't there, then the next day she was. And so the question that we as journalists stay awake up at night thinking about is whether Gleason actually really has any authority over Doge, or if she's just there as a figurehead. A seemingly moderate face on what might be a radical agenda to dismantle government services, and her background in healthcare technology have nothing to do with what Doge is doing. Her background in healthcare might make her an unlikely choice to lead the organization focused on government-wide efficiency, but it allows a veneer of technocratic legitimacy to what could otherwise just be seen as purely an ideological project, which is what it is. So one detail about Gleason that's interesting is that she hasn't received nearly enough attention in her connection to Brad Smith. So before you have to wait for this. Let me get to the funny part. Before joining Doge, Smith served as the director of the Center of Medicare and Medical Information, CMMI, during Trump's first term. And she, as I previously mentioned, worked for Main Street Health, a company focused on rural health care delivery that almost certainly had dealings with Medicare and Medicaid. That connection raises uncomfortable questions about potential conflict of interest. Is Doge, under Gleason's leadership, going to target healthcare programs for government efficiency? And will her past associations with private healthcare technology companies influence which government services are deemed inefficient and which ones are preserved? Medicaid and Medicare. Both of those are going to get targeted. And so the transformation of American healthcare from a public service to a profit center, which is, we all know that's what Trump wants to do, is turn everything into a profit margin, this would become one of the greatest tragedies in America if this happened. Um, People go bankrupt trying to pay medical bills, ration life-saving medications, die preventable deaths because they can't afford to see a doctor. If Gleason's version of efficiency, um, leads to further erosion of the public health care sector, then the consequences will be devastating and millions of Americans will die. Now, I don't know. Maybe that's what Trump wants to begin with, is for millions of Americans to die. I have said this repeatedly. I think that one of the things that Trump's trying to do is to blip Marvel Infinity War fans, blip out millions of Americans that he thinks are a drag on American society, and that would be a way to do it. Now let's talk about technical competence. So beyond the political implications of Gleason's appointment, there's more of a fundamental question. Is she even technically competent to lead an organization or a department tasked with overhauling government technology? Exactly, and culling the herd. So her background, she was a nurse, and then she led a failed healthcare coordination initiative. Um, and that doesn't scream, give this woman control of the entire federal government's digital infrastructure and then tell her to do something about it and or make it more efficient. I'm sorry, I'm not degrading the ability of a nurse to do work. I am degrading I am suggesting that a nurse does not have the ability to lead a technological organization and or manage technological resources. I'm a DevSecOps engineer. I wouldn't trust somebody that is an artist or a musician to manage critical technical infrastructure. I just wouldn't, unless they were trained specifically in that arena. It wouldn't make sense to me. So, moreover, the goal of finding $2 trillion in savings, a number that just represents roughly half of the entire federal budget, suggests that DOGE's mission isn't about thoughtful improvement, but slash and burn cost cutting, basically treating the government, which is a bureaucracy, like a startup. And it doesn't work that way. Government can't be treated like a startup. Musk thinks that it can. And he thinks he can say whatever the fuck it is he wants to fucking say about it. And he thinks he can make all of this shit happen. But bureaucracy is much slower of a process than working at a startup, where the startup says, nope, we're going to look at this shiny thing, we're going to do this today. Startup mentality versus bureaucratic mentality are entirely different. And yes, Angela, you're right. People are letting him try to get away with it. But, I mean, they can't. I mean, the judiciary has already caught up. Today I read a set of article spreads that Republicans are actually making headway with Musk by telling him, you can't do this. I have a constituency. And if you do this, you're going to fuck my constituency and you have to slow the fuck down. And Musk is apparently saying to them, oh, okay, well, I'm sorry, I'll work it out. So if Gleason is complicit in this approach to slash and burn everything, it suggests either a lack of technical understanding or a willingness to sacrifice sound technology practices at the altar of political expediency. Let me get a dagger and drive the dagger into into political expediency. Um, Neither is a quality that we should want in someone overseeing critical government systems. So, the figurehead theory. Given the dubious nature of Gleason's appointment and political context surrounding DOGE's creation, there is a compelling case. There is a strongly compelling case to be made that she's not actually calling the shots. She's just there. Her title is acting administrator rather than a formally nominated confirmed head of the department, and it supports that theory. The real power behind Doge may lie with figures more closely aligned with Trump's inner circle. Big balls. Big balls. Well, I know that's not his name, but I'm going to call him Big Balls, even though he probably doesn't have big balls. He probably has a tiny wee wee. But Gleason, with her background as a nurse turned tech executive, and her previous service in both Trump and Biden administrations, yeah, Wendy, yeah, come on, big balls. You need to sit down and shut the fuck up. I did an article about him, and one day I'll resurrect that article and we'll talk through why Big Balls was just this fucking idiot, dumbass, snot-nosed, punk-ass kid. Um, so she has these moderate credentials. Those credentials don't support the fact that she's the acting administrator of Doge. And what does that lead me to believe? Is that if things go well, Trump and his allies claim credit. If they don't, they have to blame somebody. They'll blame Gleason. She mismanaged the organization. And so it's a cynical analysis, to be sure, but one that aligns with Trump's administration patterns of government. Basically, Trump blames everybody that fucks up around him and not himself. Remember Scott Pruitt at the EPA, Rick Perry at the Department of Energy? They all fucked up and it was all their fault. The pattern of appointing figureheads who either actively oppose the department's mission or lack of qualifications to effectively execute what is, yeah, right, Wendy. So the personal tragedy angle becomes even more complicated. So one aspect of Gleason's background that makes her especially effective as a figurehead is her personal story. The narrative of a mother whose daughter's illness drove her to improve health care coordination is powerful and humanizing, and it creates a shield against criticism. You can't talk bad about her because of all of these great and wonderful things that she did to try to, you know, she did all of this stuff. Um, this isn't to suggest that Gleason's motivations weren't genuine. They probably were. I mean, if my child were sick, I would have done anything that I could have done to protect my child's well-being. If any of my kids got sick, I would do whatever is necessary. Um, so, you know, if anything, Gleason's personal experience should make her more sensitive to the potential consequences of decreasing all of this shit. So if Medicaid and Medicare take a hit and it's under her watch, she will become wildly, wildly unpopular. Um, Many programs likely to be targeted by Doge are lifelines for Americans facing circumstances similar to what her family went through. And I just can't see where she would allow that to happen. But then maybe she doesn't have any choice. So it creates an air of uncertainty. So as Gleason settles into managing Doge, if she's even doing that, and there's no evidence to support that she is, the true nature of her leadership remains sight unseen. Will she emerge as a genuine advocate for government improvement, using technology to enhance services rather than simply cut costs? I doubt it. Or will she prove to be just another appointee willing to dismantle vital programs in service to an ideological agenda? That's more likely. What the stakes couldn't really be higher at this point. Government technology isn't just about websites and apps and data and bullshit. It's infrastructure that ensures Social Security checks arrive on time, that veterans receive medical care, that food assistance gets to the hungry. Um, yeah, exactly. She takes all the brunt that Elon doesn't have to take because he's not, Matt. I'm super important. Don't bother me with this bullshit. Wait. I have to tent my hands. Don't bother me with this bullshit. I'm over here doing great things. Great things indeed. Oh my God, Mike Myers, by the way, plays Elon Musk better than Elon Musk does. I just have to say that. So, so what's the verdict? So, who the fuck is Amy Gleason? How the fuck does she get there? Based on the available evidence that I could find, she's a healthcare technology professional with a mixed track record. Um, you know, she's just kind of there. Her appointment appears to be more of a function of convenience, marriage of convenience. Um, you know, is she a figurehead? Yeah, probably. The timing and nature of her appointment, the lack of transparency around her selection, what the fuck she does, in the broader political context, all suggest that she's not the one setting Doge's agenda, and nor maybe does she even care. I don't know. Um, so the coming months will reveal more about Gleason's role, and I will continue to evolve um, my expose of her as more details become available. Until then, Americans should watch Doge and Gleason with skepticism and vigilance because when it comes to the government efficiency, the devil just isn't in the details, it's in the fucking definitions at this point. Uh, and so far, neither Trump nor Gleason have offered a definition of that prioritizes the American people over political ideology, which is fucking bullshit. So in the meantime, we're left with an emergency room nurse turned tech executive who now holds significant influence over digital infrastructure that millions and millions of Americans depend on. Um, and I mean, honestly, it wouldn't. It, it would be funny if it weren't just so fucking scary to me and everyone else. So, questions or concerns? Um, Ghost of Woo, I want to point out that um, you spelled Caroline Levitt's name wrong. It begins with three K's, not a C. So if you're going to say Caroline Levitt, you need to say it with three K's. Exactly. Thank you, Ghost. I appreciate that. Um, Ghost, I could be really off the cuff if I wanted to right now, um, and I may just do that because fuck it. I'm gonna be a bitch. That's okay. I'm used to it. Wait, Wendy Parker, is that Hitler or Amber Heard? Oh, well, hurry up, Ghost. We'll get dressed. Hurry up, get dressed, goddammit. What the fuck? Wendy, you're horrible. I'm Wendy too, so um, I actually found that shocking. Um, I was, Wendy is such an uncommon name to me, and yet um, we have um, we literally have like 12 Wendy's who read the publication. I find that fascinating and interesting. Oh, we have somebody I haven't seen before. Let's see if we can, do this. I love tricking people. It's fun. I love tricking people. It's fun. Okay, well, I'm not going to pick on a new subscriber any more than I have to. So, did everybody note that Twitter was down today for like 7 hours? 7 hours? Um, or was it just me? Or was I the only one that noted that Twitter was actually not working today? Um, so, yeah, well, I mean, nobody in their nobody in their right mind. Uh, well, okay. Nobody left of center or more left of center than left of center does Twitter anymore because Twitter is a fucking cesspool completely. So, what can only be described as the digital equivalent of watching a billionaire's rocket explode on the launch pad, which I don't know. I've already watched that happen a couple of times with Musk and his shit. Um, Twitter um, basically went down harder than, you know, a Tech Bros portfolio during a crypto winter. um, Twitter went down harder than fucking Tesla's stock is tanking. Um, and so let's paint a picture. Millions of Twitter users, thumbs hovering over the uncertainty of their phones like junkies waiting for their fucking Twitter fix that they're not going to get because the app's down because um, Musk can't manage a cybersecurity attack. Which, let's be fair, my partner and I are both cybersecurity professionals and info security professionals, and we're just like, oh, I mean, denial of service attack, probably. Um, basically, the HTTP status error codes that were coming off of Twitter all morning were basically 511s, 520s, and 524s, which are all basically Cloudflare, from a technological perspective, Cloudflare related status codes about Cloudflare's content distribution network not working, and there's a reason why. Um, so the great Twitter blackout of 2025 has created a bizarre phenomenon. People looking up from their phones with the confused expression of cave dwellers seeing sunlight for the first time like a bunch of fucking Morlocks, which is really fucking stupid or whatever. But here's the thing. So that outage happened, and a bunch of those people were saying, I'm going to Threads, or I'm going to Facebook, which, by the way, isn't Threads still Facebook? I think it is, right? I don't know. I don't keep up with that bullshit. If it's not Blue Sky, Substack, or very limitedly TikTok, I don't pay a fucking attention to it. Um, but nowhere in this digital catastrophe uh, hitting harder than the glass-walled office of Elon Musk, the man whose midlife crisis somehow resulted in purchasing an entire social media platform so that he could talk about how big his dick was to people that would just aggrandize him over and over again. Which basically means Twitter is just a gigantic echo chamber for him to say whatever the fuck it is that he wants. Here's the beautiful irony of the situation. He spent $44 billion to create the world's most expensive personal megaphone. That platform has evolved under Musk's stewardship into the digital equivalent of that bar where everybody knows your name if your name happens to be Elon, or if you think calling somebody a woke mind virus constitutes an intellectual discourse, which it does not. Without his digital chorus of yes men to agree with everything that he said, he was probably lost. The funny part was when it came back up, my coven lead, a lady named Wina, was telling me, she's like, "Oh, Wendy, like the 4 or 5 posts that Musk made after Twitter went back up, like she watched and like faster than seconds on a clock, replies on Musk's tweets were like going up into the thousands. So Musk's followers were starving for Musk interaction. And so it's an absolute clusterfuck that led to the outage. Since taking over Twitter, Musk has basically fired so many engineers that at this point, Twitter's maybe he's being maintained by the janitor. I don't know. Do you? I don't. I don't have any fucking idea. He's fired almost all of the technical staff, so who's managing that shit? So Sarah Campos, who's a tech analyst, said recently, "We're seeing the inevitable results of gutting a technological team while demanding they implement increasingly complex features." It's like firing all the mechanics and then wondering why your car explodes when you drive it at 200 miles an hour because they don't get what the fuck is wrong with it. So the platform has experienced increasing technical issues. Grok is a complete failure. He's not making money. Advertisers won't advertise on Twitter, and Musk actually has lawsuits against those advertisers because they should be forced to advertise on his platform, and it's bullshit. So it causes the information vacuum when your news source is a billionaire's fucking mood swings like a little sissy bitch who doesn't get his way, and when he doesn't get his way, he sticks his thumb in his mouth. Maybe that's not all that he sticks in his mouth. For someone that has as many kids as he has, I think he's overcompensating. Might be in the closet, just gonna say. By allowing the platform to deteriorate to this point, Musk has just embarrassed himself. Countries worldwide are deserting their Starlink contracts. Musk is losing billions over that. Tesla's stock has gone down 200 points. It was trading in the 400s back at the top of the year. It's now down into the mid to low 200s per share. So, it's a fucking train wreck. And so he's created a genuine information vacuum during a time in which immediate communication can be vital. So Dr. James Hartnett out of Harvard, when social media platforms that have become de facto public utilities fail, there are real consequences beyond the inconvenience. Information deserts form, misinformation flourishes, and in alternate channels, vulnerable communities suffer from those impacts, which means it affects people. Meanwhile, Musk is probably on the phone with his remaining engineers screaming that they need to fix it, and he doesn't have the resources to do that because they don't have the resources to do it. They don't have the resources to keep up with it. So as Twitter continues its spectacular impersonation of the Hindenburg, we all know what the Hindenburg is, right? Let me just be clear about that. Put that image into your head, the Hindenburg, and then write Twitter over the side of it. Other social media platforms are experiencing constant growth. Blue Sky, Ghost of Blue, can you confirm how many Blue Sky users Blue Sky has now? The last I looked, it was 32 million. Um, so the beautiful chaos of the situation is that Musk essentially handed his competition the perfect marketing opportunity. Our platform actually fucking works. Um, you know, it's like watching a Ferrari dealership set up a shop across from a burning Tesla showroom. So Tesla, for Twitter to fuck up as bad as it is, that's causing all of the other social media platform sets to become more desirable, and then people are migrating away from it. And as a result, Musk loses money. So what's the personal cost? Uh, uh, Let me get like weirdly psychological for a minute. So for a man whose self-image is more carefully constructed than a Lego Death Star, um, the technical failure behind Twitter, something far more devastating than just a business setback. It's a personal humiliation, and we all get to watch. Musk has positioned himself as a technical genius. I want to be very clear, by the way, he's not a technical genius. He didn't start Tesla, two other guys did. He didn't start SpaceX, another guy did. He didn't start Starlink, someone else did. All he literally did was pump money into businesses and then take them over and claim his own super intelligence for why they succeed. Um, you know, so while apparently subsisting entirely, by the way, on Diet Coke, even though, yes, I live on Diet Coke, um, and the adoration of his fans. The narrative he's crafted is a real life Tony Stark, only he's not that smart. You know, Tony Stark is maybe this smart. Musk is like down here somewhere. Um, and now his digital playground breaks, and everyone's watching. And the cognitive dissonance is just incredible. This is a guy who literally can't admit to being wrong about anything. Remember when he insisted on calling uh, the cave rescuer guy who was going to rescue um, the 14 people from that cave? He accused that guy of being a pedophile. Um, or when he declared the pandemic would be over by April of 2020, Musk has a complete self-awareness of a goldfish, and he's a fucking idiot, and he's stupid, and he's just incredibly dumb. Yeah, exactly, Ghost, projecting. So how does a man with an ego that size of his ambitions process failure in front of the public? He probably doesn't. Uh, instead, we'll soon see tweets, if we haven't already, explaining how the outage was a planned maintenance or it was an event he couldn't control or some other bullshit. So here's the deal. The Schadenfreude is real. And I want to be clear. I take no pleasure in watching a once functional platform that people loved and cared about deteriorate into the seeming pile of horseshit that it has turned into. Um, who am I kidding? The Schadenfreude is absolutely delicious. Watching the richest man in the world flail with a limp penis as his toy breaks down in a kind of cosmic justice that makes me believe in a higher power, not that I do, um, or at least in the universal law that dictates that if you act like an asshole long enough, eventually the universe will sure serve you a shit sandwich, make you eat it in front of everybody else, because that's what the fuck he's doing. So while we wait for Twitter to come back up, we take this opportunity to go outside, read a book, have a conversation that isn't limited to 200 characters. Breathe in the air, engage with nature. And remember that while Musk may have lost his echo chamber for 8 hours. Um, the rest of us have gained something precious, a brief, beautiful moment where we didn't have to hear his every fucking thought. Not that I read his every fucking thought on Twitter. But that being down means we don't have to see it. And that is worth celebrating. And I should just say that I have refrained from posting a Trump article because I have the purported naked picture of Trump that shows his tiny wee wee. And I have thought about posting it in a Trump article, but Substack does not allow me to CW an image, content warning an image. I would do it then if I could put a content warning that said if you click on this image, you will see something that you totally don't want to see anymore. And I'm a security engineer. That means I've looked at the Goatsy Man and Tub Girl and all of those horribly gross shock sites that we security engineers visited on people back in the early 2000s because we thought it was fucking funny. 2 girls in 1 cup. Don't search for that. Don't search for that. So, Ghost, if I invite you into the live now, will you talk, or are you still like fucking around or something? Because now I will open up the end of the live for questions, discussions. Oh, oh man, it never gets. Oh, okay, of course, finally.
I did not want to be on. Obviously, out of the shower, messy. But yes. Nobody knows this face.
No. Like look. I consider myself a very pretty trans woman when I do my makeup and put my hair on and everything. I mean, I don't look bad or whatever, but I don't do that during the week. Fuck off. That's crazy.
Good to see
So
you.
now you get like, wait, are you sitting? Are you sitting on a bunk bed?
Yeah, I'm sitting in my daughter's room because I'm like, my kids are around, so I'm like, y'all go watch your shows. Go on, go to it. Go to the conference. Go to it. I'm gonna be in your room. Yes.
Oh, I love that.
You're
I love
about
that.
to.
Okay.
You really have pictures of that disgustingness.
Yeah. Yes. I want to be very clear. I'm an info security engineer, and I have been one for 30 years. Yes,
So you know
I
what?
have. So, if I could find a way to like blur the image with the little thing that says "click on this," you're taking your own sanity into your own
Imagine
hands.
it's like a chode. It's kind of like this or like that. It's kind of this. Is it bigger this way or that way?
So here's the thing. I'm just gonna tell you. It's about like that. It's about like
Gross.
that.
Oh
It's about like
God.
that. Which so and
We've
that's
devolved. I'm sorry. We have. We've devolved.
when I
I mean,
post this on when I post this on the publication later, this one's gonna get because we're talking about Trump's wee wee.
whoops. We went there. My baby.
Cold.
Oh, 8.
Oh, I remember 8, and then I blinked twice, and it turned into a mouthy fucking know-it-all teenager.
There, one's almost there. There's another one that's almost 11. So yeah, I have to tell them like, yes, I can't be talking about too much stuff with them involved, but that's why I was like, okay, give me a second. I'll put on a shirt or something and let's talk. Wendy the druid. Druid. Yeah, I loved your morning post. It really really made my day. So thank you for that. That was fantastic.
Which one? Oh, the meditation.
No, the that we were just talking about the
Oh, the Twitter being
Elon.
down. Yeah,
Yeah,
I,
it's
I that's the thing. Elon, Trump, and like all of the Trump crime family, they all make it easy.
they do. They make it way too easy to dig on him. It's like, guy, don't make it so easy, okay? So we won't go there if you don't make it like you're the worst person in the world and we are trying to grasp back our democracy from you. We have a right to say things, you know. Hakeem Jeffries coming out today saying, Democrats stop with the, giving Trump a hard time. Like, if you don't see that our democracy is going down, then get out of the way because we need to do this right now. You know, these people are trying to take everything from the little people and they want us to sit by and be like, totally fine. Go ahead and take my stuff. We won't worry about the future and we'll just be quiet. And no, we need to all be Al Greens. I mean, I'm just so tired. So,
Well, from a large, so they arrested like the pro-Palestine student dude or whatever, and they were going to deport him.
mm-hmm.
So an appellate judge has already said, no, that's a First Amendment issue. You can't do that. But Trump himself has stated like, I want illegal protests on colleges not to happen, and I'm literally like, how are you going to do that without fucking the Constitution?
Right. And when will the lawsuits come? Because I'm just waiting for somebody to, can like, just to implement some laws here. So why are our constitutional rights being trampled on? When will the lawsuits come? When? I'm not a lawyer. I wish I had any kind of knowledge in that, but because we have nobody to, I mean, I know Jamie Raskin is suing Elon for our for hacking us. But it's like, oh, we have to wait for somebody's social security or my kid's social security to be used and then we can sue somebody. Like, we're all getting fed up. We're all getting so fed up that it's,
I think, well, and then too, today he made the comment, well, we're going to go into a recession, but that has to happen before we can get to the other thing. And I'm like, yeah, we're going into a recession because you keep threatening to tariff people, and those tariffs are
and
causing the market to become so
honestly,
volatile. Oh, but that's not my fault. That's Biden's fault.
of course he goes back to Biden. He has
That,
nothing else.
that's
It's
Joe Biden's fault.
intellectually lazy. They're just lazy and they just go back to the same old tropes. So it's Joe Biden, it's this, it's that. I honestly think it's because he's trying to avoid us talking about the election tabulators and all the cheating and all of the hacking. And I hate to say stealing, rigging, whatever, but it's real. If you look at Dire Talks online, it talks about all the charts that say there is a Russian tail. It's called a Russian tail where the charts are there and it shows a regular election, how it's kind of spotty. And what happened in this last one is it's like organized. It's very organized and then they do
Oh,
not reflect.
they here in Atlanta. I mean, I live in Decatur, and like 5 of the polling locations in Decatur got bomb threats called
That,
against them on election day,
that's how they got in. Those
and
were done by Russia. They say that the Russians are the ones that they've shown that they are the ones that did all the 200 bomb threats so that they were able to go in while the people were gone, suppress the vote, and then they were able to get into the tabulators. And after a certain amount of time, votes, it gets it changes. They are able to add in the votes that were that were hacked for Donald Trump, and it's all in the swing states. Everybody can go and look at it themselves. I definitely don't think that people should be, oh my god, looking over it. Everybody gets distracted and they're, oh, he's going to take Canada, he's going to take Mexico. It's like, no, it's all this is just bluster to distract us, and I won't be distracted. But I know it's a fringe idea, and I know that because they gaslit us for so many years saying that we stole it, that a lot of people don't want to look at it. It's exhausting, but we have to. It's required of us to protest, to march, to call your senator every day and bug the crap out of him like I do. I scream at him every day, like, hello, hello. Do you know my parents, SSI, Medicaid? What are you doing? How are you going to take our, our education? Telling them that they need to audit the elections, to do a forensic audit. Why are we holding up from this? Pennsylvania, there's all over the country, the Pennsylvania, Georgia, as far down as Marjorie Taylor Greene. They got in on hers too. Well, you look
I
at.
hate, I hate, I hate that woman. I
Yeah,
so ardently hate that woman. Um,
absolutely. And you know why she's so bombastic? Because she has to stay close to this like thing that keeps people distracted from what the real issue is. She was part of it. So at least they helped her based on the, Army Corps of Engineer that do the analytics for all of the elections. So it's so much that they're doing to us. It's daunting, but yeah, we cannot stop fighting. The 3.5% of us, that's what they need to be able to turn the tide against this oligarchy, against the people that want us to be held down. And um and we can't stop fighting, and we can't get a nerd to it, and we can't just be like, oh, this is just normal, and oh, this isn't normal, we're just going to hold a sign. No, we need to be more Al Green, and uh it's daunting. And like there's people in my life I cannot talk to. They refuse to talk to me about anything political, nothing, because they're just like, no, totally normal. He won. It's, and I hate when the freaking MAGAs are like, he won with a, mandate. And it's like, absolutely not. Absolutely freaking not. No mandate. So less than probably 25 to 30% at this point. Like, I'm not believing any of the numbers. So I hate to be like that, but at the same time, I'm convicted. I have constitution on this one. I really not moving, you know. I feel it in my heart and soul. I think people know immediately, think something was wrong, you know.
there was definitely bad juju.
Yeah. And obviously with them going rogue, they're trying to stuff everything in because they know it's only a matter of time till we get something evidence up. But the next scary thing that we need to deal with is they're saying martial law on 420. I don't know what that's about. They're saying something like that, but I'm like, how am I to prepare for this? Like, this is a lot. And so I really don't like to go down that dark, scary, road. But we also have to kind of consider all things. But it is scary. It's scary for people to think like that. And that's why most people tune it out and go like, "Ah, I can't. It's like, it's so much coming at us." But I try to stay focused. And when I come back to the point that they really didn't win, I get more fight in me. I'm like, okay, this isn't real. When I march in my city, I'm with the thing going, it's not real. Just just get past that point and then we can fight. So we all do what we have to do to kind of get through, but it's hard, you know, especially when we fought so hard. You saw the many people that came out to, be with to do the Kamala, to get with Kamala, to just run with her, and everybody was out, and it was like it was palpable. You knew that the people were we were more than them. And then just to be told the next day, no, it changed. It's like, something ain't right. Something ain't right.
Nope,
That nothing's
nope.
happening. Nothing can be done because, we got Brock Crockett out there fighting as much as she can. AOC, Bernie, and
Bernie's
crap.
doing a whole fucking tour.
I know. He's kicking ass. But I'm so proud of him. And they did him wrong years ago. I mean, my husband was like, oh, well, they did Bernie wrong. I'm not voting again. It's like a veteran, just like, Oh God, why are you doing this to us? And, giving him the election. So, you can't convince people. You just let it go and just go, I guess I'm just the crazy one here. I guess I'm just the nut and gonna go have lunch with uh, my dad and my stepmom, who are big Trumpers, on Wednesday, and I have not talked to them about anything. But I'm gonna say, how's your Social Security? Are y'all worried? I mean, like, I just want to bring it up because it's like, are y'all so blind that you don't know is gonna happen to you? So it's just like, oh, my brain hurts. It's broken. Like, it's freaking broke. But we fight, and I really like your all your writings, and just daily it's like, okay, sane person and like excellent writing, excellent, fantastic.
Okay,
Okay.
we're gonna make it. We're gonna get through it.
Yes, we are. Yeah, it's people like us that are gonna get us through it because we are fighters, not gonna give up. We have to.
Nope.
We have to,
Nope.
because the kids, our future, and everything that is good to us is going away. Tell me something good.
Well, I'm gonna turn the live at 8 o'clock here in about 3 minutes, and then I'm gonna pour myself a Four Fingers of bourbon
Yes.
or scotch,
Yes.
and eat my shitty Pizza Hut pizza for dinner because I haven't done that yet.
Well, good. It's something that makes you feel good, I mean, it's just every day it's like, okay, I need an extra drink. Like, oh, last time Trump was in, alcoholism went up, I mean, alcohol consumption went up. Like, you think, well, like, how are we dealing with this? You wonder why.
I really don't know how we're dealing with it. I honestly don't.
We're going to get through it. And, one day at a time, like we said, 1,000 little stabs, just 1,000. Keep on him. We're not going to stop, like Hakeem Jeffries says, be mean. Stop being mean to him. No, let me just go in like harder, because this is not gonna, we're not sitting back for this. I'm definitely kind of, I guess, on the extreme of like, kiss my bohiny, and I'm not gonna sit back for this crap, like,
And
unfortunately.
nor should you.
Right.
Nor should
Right.
you. Okay, Ghost. Thank you.
Mwah. Of course. Well, you finally got me.
Gotcha.
Thanks for calling and getting me on. That's super
Hmm.
cool. Keep it up.
People are gonna watch you later.
Okay.
People are gonna watch you later. Well, uh, we've come to the end of the hour, everyone. So I want to tell you all, uh, thank you very much. Thank you for listening. Um, I want all of you to stay strong. The only way we get through all of this is together, not apart. Um, so, unity, stay strong. And wherever you are out there, please be safe. Um, and do what you have to do to take care of yourselves. And love your family and those around you, and take care of the people that you can take care of. And I love you all.